All righty. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this Tuesday, September 7th. We're excited to be here today. We're glad everybody could join us on this Tuesday after Labor Day. So I hope everybody had a great Labor Day, enjoyed their holiday. You had it off. And appreciate everybody's hard work and the jobs that you do. We're glad to be here. I'm Robert Theobald, Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Services at the Arizona Commerce Authority. And I'm joined here with Faith Ritchie on my team. She'll be helping out today. And then we'll get to our presenter here in a moment. But to start out, as we always do, I like to start by thanking all of our community partners. We could not do these boot camp sessions without them, their time, their expertise, their effort. So for those that aren't familiar with the Small Business Boot Camp, the Small Business Boot Camp is designed to help small businesses return from the COVID crisis stronger than ever. It is a statewide initiative supported by all those community partners that we showed on the previous slides and many more. And not only is it the webinars that we do every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9 a.m., we have a resource collective and a content library. So on the website, azcommerce.com/small business bootcamp, it's a bunch of dashes in there as well. You can find the current session and the upcoming sessions. You most likely went to that page to register for today's session. And on that website, you can find the other great items, such as the resource collective. You'll find the link for that about midway down on that page. And on the resource collective, you can find additional tools and guides brought to us by our community partners to help support small businesses. And then additionally, at the bottom of the Bootcamp page, you'll find our archive section. And in this section, we have all of our recordings. So with all our boot camps, we record each webinar and we post them later in the day in the archive section. And so we have over 160 actually recorded webinars on there that you can go back and review at any time. You can watch the slide, watch the presentation, or you can just download the slide deck that was used. But it's a resource to help those that can't necessarily make the live session here at 9 a.m. They can go back and watch it later in the day or another day, or just to review if there was some content that you really liked and you want to go back and recap it. You can go back anytime. One of the great unintended consequences of recording all of our sessions is this content library. Again, with 160 plus recorded webinars, this library is pretty massive, and we cover every different topic that a small business could really deal with in the general operations of their business, whether it's social media, accounting, financial statements, business plans, social media, websites. There's HR, team management, team building, etc. So we cover a lot of different great items. You can find all of that in the archive section on the website. Also, the state has two different websites that are very good during this time period of COVID-19. First, the state office's COVID-19 information and resource page is arizonatogether.org. And then the Arizona Commerce Authority set up business resources page, the COVID-19 business resource page at azcommerce.com/COVID-19. And you can find some great business guidance, financial information, and other information for any size business on that page as well. Also, the ACA, the Arizona Commerce Authority, has a number of great programs to help support small businesses during any time of the year. We have our small business services, our workforce division, and our Arizona MEP, the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. These are all great programs to support you and your businesses as you start and grow and move forward. Talking about those that are starting businesses, we have our small business checklist. Whether you're starting a side gig or a new business or expanding your business into a new line or product, the small business checklist can help you identify the commonly requested licensing, registration, and compliance needs of that business. It is a great interactive checklist that also includes information on business planning, development, marketing, procurement, and other a lot of other great information. We've got the link listed at the bottom of the page, or you can just go to azcommerce.com/smallbiz, B-I-Z, and find it as well. So I'll jump into some small business updates real quick. PPP loan forgiveness. The information that's coming out from the SBA is there are still a lot of small businesses with smaller size PPP loans that have not applied for forgiveness. So with that, we're going to post in the chat the link to the SBA's loan forgiveness portal. The SBA set up this portal to help support small businesses and lenders in getting those small PPP loans forgiven. If you got a PPP loan, you have to apply for forgiveness. If not, it turns into a regular loan with a little bit, not a high interest rate, but higher than the EIDL. Actually, it is a low interest rate. I'm sorry. It has a low interest rate, but it is a loan, and you will have to pay it back, and you'll have payments coming here soon if you got a first go around PPP. So we can't stress enough how important it is for loan forgiveness. On that portal as well, we did a special session boot camp a couple weeks ago that you can access in the archive to review some information on that SBA portal. Also, the Back to Work Small Business Hiring and Retention Program, that application is still live on the state's website. You can link to it through our website. We'll post that link in the chat as well. That program is going until the funds are exhausted. So if you haven't applied, I would get it in quickly. I've heard that the funds are either getting close to being exhausted or maybe exhausted, but the application portal is still open. So you may want to get that information in. Also, just a reminder, the employee retention credit, that's a great opportunity for some additional funding. And we had a boot camp session on that last week. So you can go back and review that. And then we want to let everybody know that the Small Business Digital Academy, this is a 6-week training class that the ACA has put together. And we are currently accepting applications for that. It is on getting online, improving your social media. It is a 101 level class. So if you had a website for your business for a long time and you're very experienced in that, social media may not be the class for you. But again, the application window is open through the end of this week. So if you want to create a website or review your website and then improve your digital presence, this may be a program for you. We also have on the website that Faith is going to post in the chat links to some information sessions. So you can join us for those information sessions this week on that program if you want to understand more about it. So with that, we're going to take a quick look at the upcoming boot camp sessions through the end of September. Of course, today is talking about branding with your brand, your way, mind your messaging. And then on Thursday, we start a 3-part series on video with Taylor Wellman from Financial Potion. Each different webinar from this series is going to be great. And when you combine all 3 together, you should have some very increased knowledge on videos for growing your business. And so we have 3 types of videos every business should be producing. Then next Tuesday, we have is Health Share right for you and your team. This is going to give everybody information on what Health Share is. And it is a low-cost health sharing program. But if you're looking at healthcare options for your business and for your employees, this is definitely something you want to take a look at. It's going to be a great session, so I encourage everybody to take a look at it as well. Then the following Thursday, Don't Collect Dust, Understanding Your Video Distribution Roadmap. Then we're going to jump in. You'll notice on the second half of September, we've got some boot camps on the holiday season. We've got sales strategies to sort through the holiday season. And then you'll see the following Tuesday on the holiday hacking. That's going to be really interesting. A tie into there is the final session for video is YouTube search engine optimization. Again, the holidays, if your videos can be very important, YouTube is the #2 search engine online. So that may be somewhere where you can help drive some sales. So take a look at that. And then a session we decided we wanted to have at the end of the month is building small business value, strategies for a successful sale or succession of your small business. We know through COVID, a lot of businesses owners are deciding that they might want to wrap up their business sooner than later. And so we wanted to bring this session to you so you can look at that and look at some strategies as you wrap up the end of the year and go into next year, if this is something that's on your mind. If it's something that's on your mind in the next 3 to 5 years, you want to definitely partake of this session, be part of it, because when you're thinking of selling your business, you have to plan years out. So we encourage everybody to attend that Thursday session. So with that, we're going to jump into today's speaker. We have Jeffrey Lynn Campbell. She's a brand architect and CEO of Blaze Experts. She's been with us a few times before on the boot camp. We love having her on. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. But Jeffrey Lynn does a great job. So we will turn it over to you, Jeffrey Lynn.
Thanks, Robert. Hi, everybody. Welcome back from your little long weekend. I hope as small business owners, you didn't work as much as I did. Like, really. I'm going to jump right in. We have tested this already, and I might. Robert will give me a little nod if I'm on when I think I am. Am I on? I'm good. Yay. All right. So why am I here talking to you today? Why would Robert and Faith have asked me to come? Well, I've been practicing my craft since I was 8 when I designed my first logo for my father's business. And I have continued working in communications since that time. So I'm really excited. When you are building a brand, it infuses itself into everything, all of your promotion, your digital, everything. So we want to make sure that you have consistent messaging, your voice, your tone, your language is consistent all the way through, as well as having strength in your brand, which everybody always thinks it's about a logo. Well, every good brand has a logo, but not every logo has a great brand behind it. So I want to make sure that you have all of that as you move through. So what is the most recognized brand in the world? It's actually Walt Disney. What are they known for? Well, all of those things. But that is not what they put out there into the world when they're positioning themselves. You take a look at their corporate statement. It's a combination of their mission and vision. It sets the tone for their messaging, but it doesn't even come close to evoking the emotion that various messages do. And in short, branding is your business identity. When you think of that, you want to think of what the message is. Why do people need you? In the end, it's how you make them feel. So let's take a look at how Disney does it.
Think of the happiest things. It's the same as having wings. To the stars beyond the blue, there's a Neverland waiting for you. When you leave the world behind, you can fly. You can fly. You can fly.
So Disney's messaging doesn't even resemble their corporate statement. Your stuff doesn't have to mimic your mission, vision, or values either. It just needs to support them. Disney is all about making you imagine that you can fly, even as their mission statements and their values that you're looking at here don't say it. The video shows it, and that's the difference. So where do we start? We start where we are. Disney is up here, up in that strong brand and consistent messaging area. A few other select brands, Apple, Nike, some of those like that, they're all up in here. The rest of us all are in one of these other quadrants, either doing stronger messaging, but our brand isn't as solid as we would like, or we really love our brand identity, but we're not saying it quite the way we want to. So how can we make ourselves more like Disney? It's easy. It's a SMILE formula. SMILE. First, what makes you superior? Who are you? The parts of you that help make up your brand, whether you're part of a team that creates it or you're an entrepreneur that is solely responsible for it, basing your brand on your core genius, that thing, that zone that you do best, you should always start here. You have probably done this work already for your business as you've been growing it, as you've been building it, or if you've been starting it. But if you reflect on that as it pertains to your brand and your marketing, then you get a little bit better way to tell your story. So, superior, ask yourself, what makes you different and better than your competition? Maybe you're the fastest or the most thorough. Maybe it's your process. Whatever that short phrase is that makes you stand head and shoulders above anybody else, break it down into one word so that you know how to influence your brand style. Secondly, memorable. Think of it this way. How do people feel when you enter a room? And how do they feel when you leave it? That is that lasting impression. It's what makes you memorable. For me, it's energy. People feel my energy when I come in, and then they're like, oh, that energy's gone when they leave. I'm not gonna lie. Some people are like, whoa, that's intense. And then they're grateful when I leave. But we all know that if it's Jeffrey and it's Blaze, it's energy that you think of first and last. So what is yours? What makes you memorable? Next, an individual. What makes you you? Is it your quick laughter? Your inquisitive mind? What do your best friends or spouse appreciate about you? Name it. That is an integral part of what makes your brand you. And if it's your leadership team, it can be something that makes you collectively an individual. So what quality of yours is the longest lasting? You know, that thing that's been with you since you were a child. Mine is tenacity, but what is yours? What is that thing that when your parents or somebody else were standing around, they were like, oh, that person is this, that child is this. It doesn't have to be unique to you because the other pieces all put together will create that individual brand style. But what thing has been a part of you, a personality trait or a characteristic that you've had that you still have? And then what is the experience or expertise you bring to the table? This might be your superpower or your view of the world at large. It might be creativity or fine-tuned intuition. It might be knowledge or wisdom gained over several years of experience in a certain area. Think one word: intelligence, insight, statistician, designer, numerologist, illustrator. The problem that you solve for people is the solution you provide. Too often, we spend all of our time talking about the benefit, the solution. What do we do for people? That is your trigger out there. That is that awareness piece. People think about themselves. What do you do for me? But when they get ready to hire you, when they dig deeper, they're going to want to go to your about page and they're going to want to know these other things. So if you use the SMILES formula, you're already halfway there. Now, we did talk about how you want people to feel. So think of your 5 senses. If you think about how people feel now when they work with you and how you want them to feel, you can identify the gaps in there and then put it all together. What do you want people to see when they work with you? What do you want them to hear? What do you want them to smell? These don't have to be literal. You can think conceptually too. And if it's difficult or doesn't supply, skip this one. I was working with somebody last week that I said, what do you want people, and she was a coach. What do you want people to smell when they work with you? She's like, fresh air and ocean breezes. Like, I want them to be relieved and calm and happy. And so it was more of a conceptual thing, but it totally gave us an idea of what the essence of that brand needed to be. Because if you want people to smell that when they work with you, that is one way to help infuse it everywhere. What do you want them to taste? Are you salty or are you sweet? And for touch, you know, if you aren't a massage therapist or an esthetician, you can think in terms of that feel factor. Because remember, Maya Angelou said it best, people may not remember exactly what you did or what you said, but they remember how you made them feel. That makes brand ambassadors. That makes people go out and sell for you as part of your sales force, especially if you have done this brand work from greeting to goodbye, where it feels the same the first time they see you on social media as it does when they're working with you, and then after they leave you and you've offboarded them or renewed them forever. So when you think about how you make people feel, think about not just happy, but what kind of happy. This is the time to worry about semantics. If you're talking happy, do you make people relieved, at ease, confident, pleased, content, joyful, peaceful, ecstatic, euphoric, giddy? What's the exact word that you're thinking of that you want people to feel? Put the rest of it together so that you can do that always through all your messaging. So what is it that you want to be known for? This is the next piece. We talk about when we're putting together the SMILES formula and everything else, we're talking about personality, style, voice, tone, all of that. We like to think of your brand as a mall. If you have anchor stores, mission, vision, values, which you usually put together when you're doing a business plan or you're getting together and figuring out what exactly it's all going to look like, those are your anchor stores. Well, we all know that if a mall doesn't have anchor stores, it's going to close. But here's what we don't think about. If the mall only has anchor stores, people go into that Sephora at JCPenney and turn around and leave. You don't create mall walkers. You don't have people staying with you in your brand all the time. So these parts all put together your personality, your your tone, your voice, your messaging, your language, your style, all of those things, that fills out the rest of the mall. Now, when you think about your visual identity, what people think of most and first, usual, logo, colors, fonts and type style, maybe patterns, maybe a certain treatment you want or a certain view in your photographs, that kind of thing. And you're giving that design direction. Think of that as the food court in your mall. Everybody can find it. Just like you find the food table at a party, you can hide it. People will search it out. And that will become the most recognizable piece. But they only go there and they hang out for a little bit and they leave. So we want to make sure all of those pieces are in your mall so that happens. When you put together all those smile pieces, you start building out your mall. And then you get into your language. This is what you want to be known for. We like to do it as, what are my yes words and what are my no words? So we'll think of clients or customers we've already had, people we've worked with, people who have worked with us or for us. What are words that when they use to describe us, or we heard it internally, we said, oh, no. We don't want to be known for that. A lot of times people are attracted to your brand because of what you stand for or what you stand against. And language helps you identify that so that no matter what you're doing digitally or in any other promotional sphere, if you're handing it off to your niece, if you have these guidelines for them, hey, here are yes words and here are no words, it frees you up as the business owner to not have to oversee everything all the time because you have those pillars, you have those guidelines, you have those parameters in place. So if you think about that and you list the yes words that support what you want to be known for Blaze, it would be creativity. It would be innovation. It would be prompt and precise. It would be, what are some of our others? I think that's most energetic, obviously, and amiable, also flexible. Because sometimes you have a plan and you have to get away from it to do something that needs to happen right now, whether it's crisis management in your marketing or a new product you want to launch and you decided, oh, I want to do that next month. So think about the things that you want to be known for, but also think about the things that you don't want to be known for so that you have those guidelines for everyone to work from. When you do this work and you pull it together, then you have actually built your elevator speech, which I'm not going to lie, I'm not a big fan of the elevator speech that is prepared ahead of time and that you just reiterate no matter where you are. I feel like at the beginning of whether you're presenting to people or you're at a networking event or you're at a dinner party, that you want to be able to craft that message with your target audience, the individual person sitting across from you, or a whole group of people that you're presenting to. You want to be able to massage your message a little bit, even though it is pretty consistent. Because if you know the subject well and you have done the homework ahead of time, then you can say who you are, what you do, and then present that benefit that you're always so worried about. But you have the right words to substitute into the place to do it. It helps you say, I am Jeffrey Lynn with Blaze. I am a brand architect. That often makes people ask the question. Before you work with me, you may be struggling with what to say, how to say it, or who to say it to. After you work with me, you experience calm and confidence in getting your message out into the world. Now, that's what I would say to you all here today. But if I were talking with somebody about their visual identity or their website or something like that, it might be a different version of the same work. I am Jeffrey Lynn with Blaze. I am a CEO of a branding agency. Before you work with me, you may be struggling with how to build a website, what format to use, and if you can do it yourself. After you work with me, you experience a clarity and confidence in the platform that you've chosen because it's the best for you. And even if you're doing it yourself, you have the tools to go do it. Do you see how those two messages are completely different? Yet it's all about doing the same thing. I've developed a new little booklet here, The Blaze Guide to Demystifying Design. If you would like to get a copy of that, or I can even send you a free download. I haven't pushed it out into the world yet. But when you have built the foundations of your brand and you're ready to get it out there, so many of our clients like to do it themselves. Even with a brand, stuff like this that you're here today. You may not want to work with us to help you build it, but at least now you have the tools to build that consistent messaging yourself. Well, once you have that messaging, how do you put it out in the world? Well, I'm on a mission to make sure that the aesthetics and the communication is all really solid for anyone that I've worked with or has listened to me in a talk or even worked with us in any way, shape, or form. So that is free, complimentary to you, but it gives you all of the design basics, whether you're sending your communication out via email, you're putting it on your website, you're putting it out on social media, you are designing an ad for your local HOA newsletter. Whatever that looks like, these are tips and tricks that you can use to get your message out into the world everywhere. Another resource for you is my podcast. We talk about everything from selecting colors to how to do a podcast. So we would love to have you take that. Automatically get the book download. If you want to throw your email address in the chat, I bet Faith will give them all to me. And I'll just send you the PDF. That's super easy because I haven't even started promoting it yet. There's no download on the website yet. So throw it in the chat and Faith will give them to me. Thanks for asking. And then finally, I would love to take some questions and answers from you guys. A lot of times it's really fun and easy to say, you know what? I'm having a hard time coming up with this piece of the SMILE formula, or I don't really know how to do the census thing. And I'm happy to take those questions and answer them because, as I was telling Robert and Faith earlier, I tend to talk a little bit faster when I'm presenting and it goes fast. So I know that we would all love to get back to our workday, but I am absolutely happy to stay here for another 15 minutes or so and answer any questions you guys may have. Robert, do you have any, or is there anything I missed on this one?
No, let's see. We got a lot of people requesting that PDF, so we will send it to everybody that attended. So, so if you're on this, instead of typing your email in, because we had enough response, we will get that sent out. We did have a question in the chat come through. So where can we find the podcast?
It's on Apple and on our website, blazeexperts.com.
Excellent. So let's have some questions come in, and we even have some time if we wanted to. We could even maybe go through some examples. We could unmute somebody if somebody wants to ask their question and go through some of those examples with Jeffrey Lynn. A real life example always is helpful. So do we have any volunteers to jump on? We'll unmute you and we can get you on here with us.
I would love it. It's always fun to be put in the hot seat and have to work through a brand live.
Yeah, first person to post up in the chat that they want to do a live example, we'll get you on. Someone's fingers out there should be typing really quick. Hopefully,
We'll see, because the first day after a holiday, it may just be that people are like, woohoo, I only have 30 minutes, so I can get on with my day. Oh,
all
there's
right,
one.
so we had Michael or Michelle. We're gonna get on there. Okay, let me.
Looks like Ashley would too.
All right, we're gonna unmute both of you. All right, let me get Ashley on real quick.
Do you want us to open our cameras as well, or?
Yeah, you can open up your camera if you want. It's up to you. And Ashley, I'll bring you on as well. And so both of you can get with Jeffrey Lynn and go through a real life example maybe of some of her stuff and ask those questions that you have.
Sure. Let's start with Michelle. Michelle, it looks like your logo, you're a brand master yourself.
I like to tout myself as a curator of promotional products and creative ideas to get my clients' messages out to their audiences, varied either internally or externally.
It's always harder to do it for yourself, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. It is. So I actually spent some money and some time on my website during COVID and consulted with another affiliate in my distribution network and utilized his content copywriter to just add some text and values to give me better SEO ratings. And I have testimonials on here. So my My mission is to help you tell your story masterfully with products that brand and reinforce your company's unique identity. And I have these guiding principles right on the front page. My philosophy is I listen, I care, I deliver. Relationships matter, and I make them work. My mandate is to deliver products with substance and soul on time and on budget. Because my products make the audience have a tangible piece to go with whatever program or value you'd like to get out in the world. One of my clients since 2002 is a large event manager, and he sent me a message last year after we did a large program, both internationally as well as domestically, and that was in 2019. And he sent me this. If there's one thing that makes a big difference in promotional marketing, it is customer service. Michelle and 626 is that difference maker. She knows people, wants to know my customer, and will never let a campaign fail to exceed expectations. So that to me was one of the hugest, best responses I received, which made me feel good because it touted right along with my mission.
I love that. I think the only suggestion I would make to you, Michelle, in that place is something that you said early on about what you do really resonated. And as you know, from doing this yourself, it's what resonates with the target market that makes all the difference. And when you said, I listen, I care, I deliver, and then near the end of what you were talking to me about, you talked about the testimonial from that person that was saying all the amazing things that came out of your work together. I would think about tying those in together, taking that testimonial, saying, I listen, I care, I deliver, and here's what I deliver, this, this, and this, to totally simplify it and make that a benchmark for how you put your message out.
Interesting. We might have to talk offline about that because it's deep. That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely. I just, because of everything that you talked about, that feeling that it evoked and went all together, that when you can boil it down and make it super concise, it resonates faster.
Mm-hmm.
so that you can have the conversation, which is all we want, right? To bring people into the flow.
I do have their program on the site also in my Art of Mastering Promotion, where I show some product and talk about some case studies, which needs to be improved, I know also, and needs to be updated with things I've done through COVID so that it's more direct to the audience, because we've had to transition into a lot of drop shipping on behalf of our clients, which brings in a whole other chain supply challenge once you get the load into the factories when you're distributing.
Right. Well, and isn't that the way? We're so busy doing things for our clients, we don't do them for ourselves. You brought up a good thought. And before I get to Ashley, and Margaret had asked a question, how do you ensure a consistent message? So I'm going to get to that too. My philosophy around small business is that we don't have the resources Apple and Walt Disney have to put our brand out there. And so often you find people saying, but why do I need consistent messaging? Why am I advertising? Why am I marketing my business? Why do I even need a brand? And the answer so often, which really, really hurts my heart, is to get my name out there. Well, we don't have the time, the bandwidth, the money to push behind our brand to that level. What we really need to be doing is generating a flow of our ideal rock star customer and bringing them into us. Because it's not about getting our name out there, it's about bringing the business in here. And if we can create messaging that helps people select out if they're not our rock star ideal, or select in because they identify and align with our mission, our vision, our values through our messaging and our communication, then it's much more lucrative for us, and the return on the investment is much higher because we don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to put out there and wait a couple of years to get the flow back. We need to put $10,000 out there in 3 months, have it back. So it's really important that we get concise and clear about that messaging. So how do you ensure a consistent message? Margaret asked, and I'm going to talk to you next, Ashley. How do you ensure a consistent message? If you start by backing up and doing your brand, and now a lot of times I have the conversation that is, hey, I have 14 products or 14 services, and I need a separate brand for all of them. No, you might need a separate mark, a logo for all of them. You might need to tell the mission of all of them, which is what they do. But if you have backed up and you have started with an overarching brand that dictates your voice, your tone, your language, then the messaging comes much more easily because you can use that brand architecture. You can use what you already have there and plug and play, refining it because you have the guidelines to use. That keeps your messaging consistent and concise through all your products, all your services, and every channel that you go to, because you already have an overarching feel for the essence, the personality, the style of the brand, so you can infuse that into everything else. You know what makes it even easier is that it became you. You blended who you are with what you do, so it's authentic and genuine without ever having to say, I'm authentic, which is always a good thing because true authenticity doesn't have to be bragged about. Ashley, you're up. Tell me about your business first.
Well, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
We are a youth empowerment organization. And so we kind of incorporate the community togetherness, the oneness. And so we educate, empower, and provide support to our youth and young adults who are struggling from that transition from adolescent to adulthood. So we reach out to our community leaders, our community organizations, and we bring them in to kind of give a sense of mentorship, if you will. And we have them walk our youth and young adults through that transition, asking and answering, any questions that they may have, but also providing them a different perspective, because we have some students who they're not very fond of the educational system. And so, yes, obtaining your degree is, a must within the organization. However, we provide them an additional resource as to, entrepreneurship or securing a trade and things of that nature. So you kind of answered my first question when it came to how to tie together all of the different the different missions. So yes, they're separate. Yes, having a logo would be great, but essentially they're all the same messaging, the same vision, the same tone. So I understood that 100%. I think where I'm struggling is the consistency with pushing the messages, because I want to adhere to my target audience, but I also want to adhere to, investors and things like that, so we can secure, the funding, sustain it as well. And so the kids aren't necessarily interested in what we're giving to our supporters and our funders. So it's like, okay, how do I continue the consistency of this message, but still push the authenticity?
I have two answers for you, Ashley, and it was a great question and so easy to hear your heart with what you were talking about and the passion you have for your youth empowerment programs and everything. I'm going to answer Kevin's question in the Q&A at the same time, because he talked about, can you speak to how ideal customers and their buying signals influence brand development? And these kind of come together. We always build our target markets based on 3 tiers. We always have 3 because we want our brand to reflect us, but we also want it to resonate with our target markets. And when you talk to Ashley about saying, oh, well, it's difficult to get a consistent message to talk to each of the ones, I am assuming because of the programming you do, you're talking about the people who benefit from your programs and probably the parents who support or don't support what you're doing, and you're dealing with that. Then you have your other sponsors, your donors, your stakeholders. Then you have your team, your staff, your volunteers, all of that. So even as you're doing this one bold mission, you have to be able to break it down into those 3 target markets. Am I close?
You're spot on.
Okay. One thing you said that transcends all 3 of those that I heard you say, and I'm just kicking it back to you in a different way: walk with us and help them all the way through. Because you said they walk through the path, right? The transition. So if you were talking about, hey, we help people walk through these transitions, we help people walk the path to oneness, right? We are all about diversity and inclusion. We are all about bringing everybody together into community. Well, if you're doing that, your 3 target markets would all respond to walk with us. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. And Kevin, to go a little farther with that, when we break down those target markets, if you try, Ashley, and you had mentioned this, but we want to be able to say it to everybody. It seems counterproductive, and we deal with this all the time. But I want to reach more people and do more of this, and I want to do all of this. The more narrow you get, the better your response becomes, because it resonates with the people who are most likely to respond and engage with you. Here's how I look at it. I look at it like a pie, but really I like pizza better. So let's say pizza. So if you're talking to one group, your primary target market, 60%, and this is times 3 because you have 3 target markets, 60% of your business is going to come from exactly who you're talking to. It always does. It resonates with them. Your words speak to their heart, your imagery, your visualization, everything. It shows them, not tells them. So they're really drawn to it. 60% of your business comes from there. 20% comes from people who want to be them or will be them. So if you were talking to your donors or your volunteers or your primary target market that buys your biggest, best product or service, 60% will come from that. 20% will come from people who want to be them or will be them someday. And 20% are your, oh my gosh, I never thought I'd have a client or customer this great. They're the 20% that have been the people you're talking to. So even as you're getting more and more targeted, you are helping people self-select away. When we build out that persona, we get down to everything. I do not believe in avatars because I believe real people are the ones who make decisions. They're the ones who buy. They're the ones who take action. So you build out a real person based upon your best donor, your best customer, your best and longest lasting client. And what do they do for fun? What are they passionate about? What is their family stage? Where did they go to school? Where did they grow up? All of those things build into making that person real, so that anything you speak to that would resonate with that person resonates with people just like them. And that's the 60-20-20. So then you have 100% of these people you want, 100% of these people you want, and 100% of these people you want coming to you. And you can ignore the rest because they'll either fit in how you do your best work with and for, or they won't. And we all know how that goes sometimes. Kevin, did that answer your question too? Let me know that. And Ashley, was there any follow-up, or did I get your question answered?
You answered my question. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Do we have any others I need to speak to, Robert?
No, I don't see any other questions. I see a lot of thank you for participating and appreciating the information. What are some ways that, you mentioned early on brand logo. What are some ways that people on a budget can develop a brand logo, or something they can use, to help support that brand they want to create?
That's a great question, Robert. I think, when you're starting out, I have so many conversations with people that are like, I just need a logo. And I really am a proponent for you actually need a brand, because how do you communicate your message with just a logo? They don't buy you because you have a cool logo. They buy you because how well you communicate what you can do for them, right? So I really think it comes into developing the brand altogether. We developed right before COVID a brand in a day workshop that we do for small businesses. And I am in the process of creating a do-it-yourself how to book on how to do it and an online course. So that I really want to help all these small entrepreneurs, side hustle, kind of do it themselves until they can get to a point where they want to do that. But a lot of people will go to Fiverr or logobids.com because they have a concept of what they want. And you know what? As a startup, that can work for the first year or two, but your brand should transcend as long as you're in business. So when you get to that point, it really doesn't have to be that big of an outlay. We do brands for small businesses for much less than you would think. And I think that the approach is always to start with that mission, vision, values, work through the smiles, and then give that information to your designer or whoever is working with you to do your logo, or even if you're jumping on Canva to do it yourself. But if you know all of those things so that you can start searching for the right type style, the right colors, all of those things that support the essence that you want to convey, you're that much closer than going, hey, I have an idea. I'm a cleaning company, so I think I should use a broom as my logo, and here's what I want to do. Yes, that's completely logical. But if you went through, what do I stand for? Why is cleaning important to me? What do people get from having a clean home? How do they feel? And then you work through your logo from that direction. It may be a completely different concept, but land so much better with your target market.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a great response. Looks like we might have some other questions in there. We have one from Dare. It says, I paint and I am told my paintings bring calm. I want to expand into mindful movement and thoughts to lower anxiety. Do I do the same website for both?
Maybe we should have Dare on because I have a couple of questions. If we're talking about, we have a painting from Calm and we want to expand into mindful movement, so we're talking about actual practice instead of paintings. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, I have a background as a yoga teacher.
Okay.
And I also have a background way back when as a counselor. And I've been told repeatedly that my paintings bring calm. And when people talk to me, they bring calm. And actually, I've been working on a book during COVID because I'm trying to expand my business because COVID has totally quashed me. It has taken me in the loss category for my paintings. I was going great before. So I'm thinking of expanding back and using my background. And I'm not sure if I should use the same website for both.
From what little I know of you right now, I'm going to stick my neck out there and say absolutely.
Okay.
And here's why. First of all, just hearing your voice evokes a sense of calm, so I can feel your energy. Where mine is intense and crazy, bouncing off the walls, high vibration, you have already calmed my blood pressure. I can feel that just from talking to you.
Wonderful.
I would say, since your paintings evoke calm and what drives you is yoga, mindful movement, lower anxiety, kind of a lower vibration that is the calm in the storm,
Right.
I would say that that is your brand that transcends your products. And your products are paintings for your shop, right? And then your services are the yoga, the mindful movement, the meditation.
Okay.
So I would back it all the way up and say something about mindful, calm, more of a continuity is a feeling I get from you. And so these are all the ways that you present that. Those are all the ways you help people.
Okay.
That's what I hear you say.
Right. In fact, I'm going to apply for the digital workshop to figure out how to put this all together in a way that's explanatory.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I would go through the smiles exercise and then apply it to both your product and your service.
Okay. And then my website is called Dare Art. Should I change the name of my website to my name, or I'm really not sure where to go with that, because I'm not sure someone that needs help with anxiety would necessarily go to a website called Dare Art, but maybe because I'll be teaching the art of living mindfully.
Yeah, people don't care what your
with
website's
anxiety.
called,
Okay.
like as long as it's easy to type in.
Okay.
And just from talking to you, I would say that your mindful practice, your mindfulness practice is an art.
Right, exactly.
So I would argue that Dare Art, you already have it out there. You already have it building in the digital space. So adding a piece to that for the mindfulness, and that those are the different ways that you practice your art or are an artist, in fact.
Okay. Because I want them to be able to paint a picture of the life that they really want to live.
Well, there you go. There's your tagline.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope
Paint a
this is
picture.
recorded.
Paint a
I can
picture of the
remember.
life you want to live right there. Yeah.
Because I truly do have the tools to help them do that.
I think that's your baseline messaging.
Great. Well, maybe COVID's going to pay off for me and many other people.
It has for many, right? And
Right.
often it's just sorting through and getting clarity on those pieces.
Yes, exactly. And this whole process, all these boot camps are helping me
Good.
because quite frankly, I'm more just into painting and people rather than all this other stuff. But this is very helpful to me because I don't think like this. So great.
So, and there's a blog post for you. I'm more into painting and people.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's true. I am. So thank you. And is this recorded so I can remember what you said? Okay, good.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for participating, you all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That
And
makes it
thank you
so
to
much
everyone
better
for
and more
listening.
fun.
And you
Yes.
seem fun and very vibrant.
Yes, thank you, Michelle, Ashley, and Dare for jumping on, allowing us to have you speak and ask us questions for Jeffrey Lynn. You know, I don't see any other questions, and we are right at that time. So, and that's, you know, Dare's question was a great way to wrap up the session. Jeffrey Lynn, thank you for your expertise again. We appreciate every time you come on and the energy you bring to the boot camp. So again, thank you. Thank you to all those that participated, whether it was coming on and speaking live or with your comments in the chat, your questions. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap up today's session. Again, we want to thank Jeffrey Lynn for coming on. We want to thank all of you for attending, and we hope to see you on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Thanks, Robert.